you lovelies, for the 200th time. This is the 200th episode of Coycast, a pop culture-centric show that frankly barely made it past episode 2 because of its timing. We are here today to talk about the summer. It is Memorial Day. It is a glorious time. I am joined by a glorious man, the one and only Jake Lloyd Bacon. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I agree with the back half of that statement. Trepidatious to agree with the first half. I am a glorious man. Is it a glorious time? Glorious?
Summer?
Okay.
It was a summer parallel.
Broad
strokes. It was like,
sure.
It's summer, a glorious time. These times, we're alive, but summer being a glorious time, I stand by.
Okay.
That was the hope, that let's have an uplifting summer, because I'm tired.
Not to start off our pop culture show talking about weather like a bunch of old folks, but it has been glorious because it actually hasn't been too summery, and that's what I've enjoyed. It's been nice and cool here in the Los Angeles area, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I actually I am in a hot neighborhood now, and boy oh boy, the 4 days it's been hot, I've had 2 minor heat strokes, and I've only been in the heat like 7 weeks, so I'm very aware of my weakness.
Great.
I like my HVAC. I finally have central air for the first time in my LA life ever.
Wow, congratulations.
Ever. 16 years into LA, and I'm so used to a wall unit and being like, this I think is working, but it is cooling the house down.
Sure.
Whereas when an HVAC breaks, the house becomes an oven because it's sealed. So I was like working last week, and it was one of the hot days, and I was like, I don't feel great. And then I was like, I'm going to take a little nap, not thinking like those 2 thoughts are probably like a danger sign.
Great.
Take a nap, wake up, like blurry, sweating, walk over to my thermostat. It says 99, and I don't know if it just doesn't go to triple digits. Like it could have been hotter.
Doesn't.
Like it's actually probably, and I literally go to like hop in the shower because I've got an event to go to, and I'm like, I just feel bad, and just throw up. I just immediately throw up, and I was like, oh, this is not how, okay, I'm dying. So then I called landlord and had an emergency HVAC, and like as soon as it came back on, I was like, feel better. Who knew an oven isn't for man? So summer, I'm afraid, because my survival instincts are clearly that of a toddler.
No, yeah.
I'm gonna take a nap. I'll solve this.
For someone who loves Burning Man, you would not survive the desert.
It's so funny how Burning Man, you prepare for months and you mentally know, but if it's your house, you're just like, odd.
It's fair. That's
fair. That's been my summer so far.
Okay. All right.
I thought in this fine episode 200, we'd cover 2 things. One, excitement for summer and the summer movie season, blockbusters, things we tend to talk about.
A lot on the horizon.
If there's anything you're going to see.
Some stuff that's changed too.
Yeah, which is going to be fun.
I'm looking forward to you filling me in, because there's stuff that I've caught in my peripheral.
Yeah.
Peripheral vision.
You get to be the eye line to the audience. Peripheral. He's making a visual joke, podcast listeners.
Sorry. I'm wearing my mispronunciation hoodie, super cozy, now available at the shop at coycast.com.
I like that Jake just pulled a first 100 episodes Coy and made a video thing. Like,
I can now, though.
You can for this part of the audience.
Sure. Well, here's the thing: is it just makes the people who are only listening go, I really got to watch.
Come on
these.
in. We got a YouTube.
What was I saying? There's some things that
has happened.
I believe have changed and been mixed up in my periphery, and I'm curious
that are no longer summer, that are now Christmas.
Yeah, that I'm curious for you to fill me in on. But I do want to acknowledge, speaking of the video version, those who are joining us live. We do this now live exclusively on the Patreon, but not behind a paywall. If you want to tune in and chat directly with us via the chat and watch these as we record them, you got to head on over to patreon.com/Coycast. And you just need to become a member. You don't have to necessarily become a paid member.
We'd like if you do.
To get, the paid member gets you additional stuff, but every member gets access to this. I want to shout out some familiar faces and names: Michael McCarstle, Darth Vadad in the chat. Darth Vadad, by the way, after you said that was 200ths, Darth Vadad goes, how many has Coy done? 199?
198.
I actually think it might be 198.
I think it is 198. I think there's 2 Hoycasts.
Coy missed 2, yeah.
Right? So 198.
Yes.
You know what we should have done? I wish I'd thought of it. For the 200th episode, we should have had the first ever Coy Hoycast.
Coy Hoycast, listen. We could probably still make that happen. I could send a text message.
It'd be fun to like have the first time the 3 of us.
Right.
Because she's done 2 episodes. They've been great. But there's never been a Coy Hoy Hoy. Oh, wait, that's the name.
Ahoy, hoy.
But yeah, so episode 200, I thought it'd be fun to go through some of my favorite 200th issues of comic books in general. I think
this is fun for me and my shit memory.
Yeah.
Because I'm certain I'm more familiar with some than I think I am.
Sure.
But I'm just terrible with I've never been a guy who remembers issue numbers.
Fair.
Like even for tentpole things.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where if I am thinking about an event that occurred and I look it up, I'll retain it for
that day.
Or yeah, like if it comes up fairly recently, like the shit that fills my brain that pushes out the other stuff so rapidly.
Yeah.
I've never been. I can imagine though that
unscripted TV anecdotes.
But in the sure, but in the other side of that though, like you, who has just read so many more individual issues, I can also imagine it's impossible to keep track.
It's really hard unless it's like so essential. Like,
well, the nice part about 200, the nice clean number is it's usually a giant size issue.
And I can picture them making the thumbnail big. Like they usually blow up the actual like box.
Oh, right, sure.
Like that helps my memory.
Yeah.
And then if a comic's like iconic to me, or if I've been hunting it a long time, some of the comics I know are because like it took years to find.
Right, because it's been on your radar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But 200 has a few really good ones. I'm going to start with this one right here. I'm showing this to Jake, and then I'll show you guys. This is one of my favorite covers from this entire run of Daredevil. Look at that beauty right there. Classic Al Milgrom cover with Bullseye.
That's Daredevil 200?
Yeah.
I can pull it up and
Daredevil
we can just share it.
Oh, yeah, that'd be probably better than me showing my phone. Can you bring an image into the screen?
Yeah, Daredevil. Well, I'm just going to look it up myself and then share my screen.
Sweet. So, yeah, Daredevil 200 is one of my favorite 200s. It's an Al Milgrom cover. It is there it is.
When I wrote Daredevil 200, it Google auto finished and added the 3.
Zero? Oh,
no,
it
added the 3 to make it 2003. And
which is old Benny Affleck.
And brought up the movie.
Oh, that's great.
That's really funny. I'm just trying to find a nice, good, clean image. Who would have thought that would be on Marvel.com?
There they go.
Let's see here. Let's see if I can recall how to do all of this. It's only 200 episodes, but we've only what 15, 20?
We're doing our best.
Like I'm talking
with
about the video.
Oh,
probably
I think
less than that.
I think like 12.
Anyways, there we go. Boom. Maybe. Daredevil 200. I mean, that is a gorgeous cover.
Right?
What I love about it is I love the like absolute and total darkness. This is a very what year was this?
Daredevil 200 is 80s.
Because I'm going to say this is like, I could definitely see the line from this to the like McFarlane style. Oh, let's just make
100%.
mostly black faces.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
really, like don't be afraid of burying stuff in silhouette.
I have been saying Al Milgrom. I apologize. This is John Byrne, one of my favorites of all time. I apologize to John Byrne. Al Milgrom was this era, but this is a John Byrne cover, and John Byrne's one of my favorite artists of all time. So
it's great. It's a great cover. I think that like there's like a simplicity to it that I feel like in the modern era you'd argue about, but I think
it's
of
so
this
clean,
era,
dude.
it just makes it real clean.
And
also, he's bandaged up? It's a cast.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm gonna do a top 5 of issue 200s.
Oh.
So that way we get a little countdown.
But wait, yeah. But before we move on, can you tell me a little bit about what happens in this? Do you recall?
I remember this is a big ol' Dennis O'Neil era story. Dennis O'Neil was one of the writers. This is from memory. It's not me looking.
No,
Dennis
sure,
O'Neil was one of the writers who really made New York like it was at the time. So they added a lot of like present day problems and issues.
Sure.
And I remember there's an issue near this, which is Daredevil having a beer in a bar. And it basically is like a really human story. And each one of the New Yorkers that comes in is someone the writer actually knew. And it was like inserting Daredevil into a story, which was cool. And that was this era. So very gritty, very pulpy, very New York, that Giuliani cleaning up era. My sister, Juliana.
Sure.
Giuliani, like hard on crime era.
Right.
But with Daredevil. So that's this run around here. All right, next up, we're going to go for you guys are not going to be surprised by my next pull, but you might be surprised by what order it's in, because this one is number 4. This is The Amazing Spider-Man 200.
Yeah. Now this one I know for a fact I had at some point in a collection. I think it's beat to shit.
I had to rebuy this one because I read it too much as a kid, and now I have a good copy. But this is Spider-Man confronting Uncle Ben's murderer.
Yeah.
This is him actually getting to make the decision of what to do to handle the man himself. He ends up having a heart attack. It's a really like brutal, striking issue of like things outside your control. And it's a really well written. It's really core Spider-Man Parker luck, but also like Spider-Man's anger is part of who he is, but how he handles it is largely this issue, which I've always really appreciated.
I think that the Amazing Spider-Man word mark is probably the best.
Oh, it's so beautiful, right?
It has such a rhythm to it. It has such a flow. I absolutely love.
I'm so glad it doesn't change much. It's changed and then they moved back.
Well,
they're like, we know better.
they always make like a modern version of it, and then they revert.
You're like, this is
God, it's great. Also, what a cover,
right? Gorgeous.
Jeez Louise.
So people are gonna think I'm favoring Marvel, but
hey,
my thing is
make mine Marvel, baby.
Well, my thing is like Detective Comics 200 was like in the 70s,
sure,
and that flavor of Batman isn't the flavor I enjoy as much.
Right.
Superman 200 not as much my jam either because it's on issue 1087 now. Like just different context for what my reading is.
Totally.
So apologies to readers.
What was the year for this one again?
This would have been 200. It started in 63, so that would have been almost 20 years in.
Is this
so
79?
78, 78, 79.
Okay, because it has 79 on it.
Oh, I just did the math, so it could be 79.
I don't know though. Sometimes I don't know whether or not they always keep that year's copyright.
They print 2 months ahead of time, so this could have been late 78.
And this came January. This is January 2000.
So my math was probably right.
I almost said January 2000. January.
So that would have come out in 78.
So there you go.
So all right, so then we're gonna go to.
We weren't even around.
Yep, that's why it's tricky for the even earlier DC stuff because like that's not my tone of these characters. My next one is gonna be Venom 200. A surprise.
You are a
probably
shill.
weren't expecting this one. We got Null. Look at this cover. Look at his beauty. I think this is like prime Donny Cates. Great Greg Capullo stuff. We got like that badass sword that became super important later on. This issue just slaps. Like to me, this is, I think what we get from Ryan Stegman, sorry, I said Greg Capullo. What do we get from Ryan Stegman and Greg Capullo is the only two artists that captured a McFarlane vibe without looking like they were copying him in the modern day. A lot of people copied him in his era and they did their thing. The modern Greg Capullo and the modern Ryan Stegman have the energy of McFarlane, but it doesn't feel like someone just copying his style. And that's what this cover feels like to me, is someone like really capturing the symbiote that McFarlane made. So this is in the Null Saga. This is some really interesting stuff with basically the King in Black forming. We learn about the Celestials and Null here. We learn a lot of like deep mythology. Great issue.
I wonder, man, you know what would be fun to do one day? Maybe it's like a task for our Discord. Like tracing this sit artwork.
Oh yeah,
throughout because there's
so many. Black Adam's got an iconic one.
Yeah, when I see that like arm up, but it's not just the physicality of the character. It's about the angle. It's like 100%. Almost always this shot.
It's not quite a 3/4, not quite a straight on. It's
right,
like something
but it's
between.
Also it's like it's not eye level. It's like chest level.
Yep.
There's all these subtleties, but I feel like they're all kind of the same. I'm curious to what
started it,
or like
who was the first seed,
and whether or not we can kind of see like, oh, well, this person clearly looked at this as a reference. This person and try to trace that chain.
Discord.
Yeah, I see that. I also feel like there's a good Doom.
Yeah,
of this
great
as well.
Doom.
Like I'm pretty sure like I've seen Doom in this.
I think of Black Adam with this pose, and I think it's just because that was like the most.
Wasn't
iconic.
there recently a Loki version with this as well? That was the same kind of thing, but with the horns.
100%. Yeah, seated vengeance.
I love on the bottom of this, by the way. It says plus a host of Venom's most historic creators, including Mark Bagley, Ron Lim, Gerardo Sandoval, and more. Does that were they
They do guest arts and stuff in the back.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a whole like spreads, which is like going over the 200 issues. Because Mark Bagley and Todd McFarlane to me are who I see. Like those are my Venom guys.
Yeah.
So that's number 3. Coming in at number 2.
Can I tell you? I don't know that I've read this.
This is super modern. This is like 15 years ago.
This might be one of those things though that I know a bit about the story because I absorbed it through Marvel pop culture, and also like the this is stuff that like I feel like has been covered in like video games, and it's like sometimes you do those things where you're like. Or even for our show where we look something up because we're playing a game.
Yeah.
And then I read a quick blurb about a history and then I'm like, oh, and then my brain thinks I read it.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you?
Yeah,
like
100%.
Like sometimes we know parts
you have a
of
long
our lore.
line, your brain expands it.
And like we have some parts of lore in our head, but we don't know where they started, where they came from.
So this was almost 10 years ago. Apologies.
I don't know that
this was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know that I've read this.
And
honestly,
then,
if it's 10, I know I did.
Yeah, it was 2018, so 7.5 years ago.
Yeah. I haven't read this since I've been with Alexandra and we've been together that long. Yeah.
All right, then number 2, I definitely know you know. My number 2nd favorite 200th issue is going to be Uncanny X-Men 200. The best sleeves in the game. Oh, look at
the
this
chains, yeah,
and the really cunty Magneto sleeves. This is why he's a gay icon. Look at those sleeves.
No, you're not wrong.
Look, I mean, they're just so. That's some West Hollywood outfit right there. If I've ever seen one. That man goes to
God,
the Pony Club.
It is such a great costume design.
It's beautiful, and it's so iconic. This cover is so iconic. So I didn't want to just do iconic covers. I also wanted to do iconic storylines. Like, all of these storylines are also good. This one is the Magneto trial.
Only 2 of the 4 you've said are giant size issues. For some reason, in my brain, I'm just
we usually think they are, but
I'm like, they're every 100 or 200 is a giant size.
So this is the trial of Magneto. Really great theology and concepts and philosophy here. Theology in the sense of, like, X-Men as gods and above people, and philosophy as in Xavier versus Eric's kind of worlds at play. And what he does in this issue is like the peak of him being altruistic while being vengeful.
You can absolutely trace all of the what happened with, like, House of M all back to this. You can trace
100%.
Everything with Scarlet.
X-Men 97 adapted this directly.
Right, yeah. Like, you can 100% trace everything right back to this.
And John Romita Jr. art when he really took his time.
Yeah.
I love this era of Junior. I mean, this was 80s.
John
Romita Jr. has been in the game forever.
But I know, so he's got John Romita Jr.
Yeah.
And then he's got next to it on his signature DG85. Is DG what is 85 the year?
This is 85.
And then what's DG stand for?
Maybe the inker?
Oh, maybe it's somebody else's initials, right?
Like, I imagine that's the inker, who I don't know who was inking him at the time because I'm not that good.
But what's interesting is that this is clearly written by the same person, or maybe that is actually not a signature. Maybe that is added by whoever the text inker is, which might not have been John Romita.
That's true. That's totally possible. Yeah.
Because I don't know necessarily
inker
who
Dan
did.
Green.
DG, there it is.
Yeah, 85.
So either...
This is the Claremont era, too.
So here's the question. Is that Green doing both of their names? Because that's usually something that happens at the ink stage, potentially.
That'd be funny if
Romita
Romita never even signed it.
It just looks
that
like...
kind of a cover, I imagine Romita would make the time, but they're very similar signatures.
But it also looks like... Obviously, I can't really...
It looks like the same handwriting.
But can you see... Oh, yeah, hey, look, they can see my pointer here. Like, if we zoom in... There we go. Look at this. Look at the technology.
Also, Darth Vadad guessed it. I want to give him his flowers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that definitely is the same handwriting. That is probably JR DG85. Like, that's probably Dan Green doing it. That's a good point.
Move to the right.
God, that looks great. I love this era, John Romita Jr. I think he's one of the best to ever do it. I think he rushes a lot now because he's got so many books. And he rushed a lot in the early 2000s. But I mean, he's an icon and the son of an icon. Like, the Romita duo are incredible.
Also, not too dissimilar to the style of the Daredevil one.
Yeah,
but,
with John
but
Byrne.
the Daredevil one, again, it's like we push further into the, like, let's just go black. Let's just like
clean.
Let's just keep everything super silhouetted.
All right. Any guess? Now, I've given you my 4 out of 5. Any guesses what number 1's going to be? It's one of my favorite comics of all time.
I mean, is it Spectacular?
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because we've already done Amazing.
It's so good.
It's got to be Spectacular.
And I did set you up for. Do you now before you press it? Do you remember what Spectacular 200 is?
I can picture the cover.
Got in trouble with the Comics Code Authority.
Yeah.
Not the first time that character has.
Ships in the Night. Now I'm struggling to remember it now because you put me on the spot.
Death of Harry Osborn.
Yes, right.
The drug issue.
Right. Yes.
Beautiful cover. I think it's Sal Buscema art. It is a chromium cover. It is one of my favorite, like, goddamn, this issue's good.
I like that the people who are watching get to watch me
learn to type.
No, yeah, like just like all of the typos when I try to type really fast.
Phonetically.
Right. This is the cover that I was thinking.
God damn,
right.
That's gorgeous.
So now this,
you know what's funny? I think this might be Al Milgram.
This had a foil version as well.
That's the one I have. I think
I have
this
the foil.
is such
of
an
this.
issue.
But yeah, I think
look at that cover, man.
I'm pretty sure I have the foil.
This is another giant size, well deserved. Death of Harry Osborn, folks. ODs and saves people on his way out. You see the real hero Harry is. Really beautiful issue with Peter Parker and Harry. Really great Mary Jane stuff. Really dynamic cover and interiors. Buscema on art. Big old fan. So those are my. I mean, I thought it'd be fun. Top 5 200th issues in comics.
Yeah, I mean, you listen. 3 of them are all Spider-Verse, so that's business as usual for Coy.
And X-Men.
And
we've got to do X-Men and Spider-Man.
Yeah, they're all Marvel.
Yeah, but that's because of when.
Of course. Yeah.
When
the 200s happened before we ever even were.
That was the 60s because they started in the 40s. Like, I can only do so much. When we get to episode 700 of Coycast, I'll do some DC for you.
I wonder what is the best recent 200. I know that, like, the Venom is 10 years ago, so that's pretty recent.
Pretty recent. 2018.
But I'm trying to think of, like, some of the. Maybe even like some
Miles
of the
Morales.
Yeah, because like there's got to be
Marvel's probably approaching 200,
and especially because I don't read the floppies, I have no idea what
Right.
the issues are as I'm reading through them. Like, that's not true. Once I get to like volume 4 of a trade, then I lose track.
Sure.
Like, in the
In
first
the beginning, you're aware of like 5, 10, 12.
and usually they have like the numbers, and it's kind of
Yeah.
easy to recall because I feel like early on in the runs of everything, the covers are more important.
Yeah, because they're really going to sell it.
'Cause they're
Like, you
trying
got to
to-
make that book have momentum.
Exactly.
But there's not a lot of new characters that are doing as well as characters did in
Right.
this day that
Right.
are. The legacy numbering becomes a problem. Like
Right.
they'll make it like one volume, like change the numbering. We need to do number 1.
Or it's like, oh, this is issue 0, and you're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Don't
Superman
put issues.
just got a 200 because he had a second title started.
Oh, right.
So that was something
Right.
recent.
Yeah, I'd be curious about that. I'd be curious. Let us know in the chat or let us know in the Discord. Like, what are some really good 200s that are recent? Because it's a tough milestone for a new book.
New character.
Because like I'm trying to think of like the Walking Dead's
Yeah.
and the Fables is like these things that I don't know. I don't even know where they get to because generally, unless they definitively finish like I did, I'm like I lose track of it or I fall behind because I can't keep up.
Department of Truth's about to hit 30, and I was like, whoa.
Right, and that's the thing. It's 30. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to think. The stuff that started.
Saga just hit like 73.
Yeah, but you got
Saga's never going to hit 200.
I mean, right.
By design.
Right. Yeah. But the thing is, like, you're trying to do the math on that. You're the math was like, if you're doing a monthly book
12
and you don't miss
is 120 is 10 years.
Right.
So it's 18 years.
Yeah. So right now, the stuff that started in the mid 2000s.
Miles Morales and Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
All new, all different characters. Which
Right.
ones have made it? Miles, Kamala.
But also that's where you start introducing some of those more prominent modern image.
Yeah.
Boom. I guess Boom kind of, but like.
Boom's like 2010s. They
Yeah.
got about 7 or 8 years.
Sure. But like, I'm trying to think of, or
Image has some.
Dynamite and Image and some of
Dark
these
Horse,
others.
I'm sure, has some.
Right.
Maybe some Hellboy.
I'm sure Hellboy's passed. I mean, although I think
He
he
has
kept
long gaps.
stopped. Yeah,
Yeah.
he kept stopped and restarting, and yeah.
I'm really curious about this in the Discord. Let us know. Discord totally free.
Yeah.
I'm really curious if there's anything we're missing.
It's interesting too because I think as I've gotten older, like, and I
18 years is a long time.
I struggle for time. Like that's the biggest struggle I have is like between the work that we need to complete in order to live and pay bills, and then the creative endeavors and outputs that I seek to put into the world.
Sure.
Then just the general like, spending time with my loved ones, the travel, the things that you're like, well, this is the most important. Yeah, right. I am absolutely like, I get flustered.
Yeah.
When Alexandra's like, hey, you want to start this show? And there's 6 seasons of it, and there's 20, and I'm just like, oh, because I know that I'm going to commit that.
Like Hacks, I just watched. It was the first time I've added a 4-season show in like maybe 5 years.
Right.
Since Community in the pandemic.
Right. And
5
so
years ago.
the same thing happens with comics.
Yeah.
Where
So I
I'm
got
like,
you on Ultimate early.
well, the reality is you want to know what the best timing was Saga.
Yeah.
The best timing was
We had
Saga.
time.
Because not only do we have time, but it was also like there weren't so many.
Sure.
But
it was still a
6
fun
trades.
journey to go on.
At that point, I think there were 6 or 7 trades.
Yeah.
Easy enough to get through pretty abruptly. But yeah,
Department of Truth's at 30. I feel like that's a pretty sweet spot for where you are right now.
Right, totally. Yeah.
And Ultimate, you've read 1 of 2. And 3 is about to come out.
Right.
So
yeah.
I feel like those
that's
are
what I'm saying.
that's my new wave with you.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's almost like
Keep you under 3.
But it's also that's what I'm trying to get at is like the stuff I either need to know that it has ended because then
Or it has to be so fresh and amazing.
Yeah,
I'm beta
or it has
testing books for
yeah.
you.
Because it's easier for me to abandon something that's continuing
Sure.
than it is for me to abandon something that has a definitive end.
Yeah, I get that.
Because if it's definitive ending, I'm like, well, I want
I've only got 20
to
more.
see where this goes.
Yeah.
Whereas with something that's going, is like, I'll see where it goes eventually, regardless.
Right.
I know it's weird.
As an
I don't know.
ongoing guy, I'm the other way.
I don't know
I'm
if the psychology of this tracks with anybody.
I think it's just you want the contentment of ending it.
Yeah, people might think I'm just crazy, but that's
I think
kind
you
of
want to check it off.
It is, but it's also. I also think, and I think we talked about this on the show previously, or maybe it was on the Patreon pod when we were talking about TV. I have been burned by bad television.
I've been burned by bad endings.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When I say endings, I was burned by Lost.
Yeah.
I was burned like all these shows, Chuck, that you put in all these seasons to, and then they just like you just kind of realize at some point like, I'm not.
I think the problem now is the lack of ending.
Lost.
So many shows get canceled and you get
100%.
no catharsis. So I'm scared to start things and I'm like, I will never know.
Same problem. Because whether or not it ends poorly or it never ends at all, you're still left
lingering,
high and dry,
haunted.
Creatively high and dry. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this was fun. We hadn't done something like this in a bit.
Crude turn of phrase. But Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so those are some 200s. It's a high benchmark. 18 years of a comic.
If I was smart, I would have pulled down my very, very small minimal floppy selection and see what 200s I have in there. Because I know I have a few.
Yeah.
Because that was also a thing that when, I don't know, not for you because you collected like everything, but for me, when I was young and I didn't buy a lot of individual comics, you would go for the ones that felt special.
Which is why legacy numbers, they come back, they're like 189, 190, 200, new number one.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, so that was the 200s, and now I want to talk about some summer. It has been a shifty, turny, timey-wimey couple of weeks with summer releases. I assume the thing Jake wants to talk about is a certain pair of films were moved from, 11 months from now, while filming, to a more reasonable 8-month push into December of 2026 and 2027, respectively. We've got Avengers Doomsday coming out early December of next year. And then the following year, early December, is Secret Wars Avengers follow-up.
That's not what I was referring to.
Oh.
That's news to me. I did not know that.
So Avengers was supposed to come out in 11 months. They just started filming. Those are mildly visual effects heavy films.
Yeah, that's a lot. Well, I mean, considering they're not paying anybody anymore.
Yeah, but they got moved. So both got moved to December. We never had an Avengers film over Christmas. So we get a big tentpole Avengers movie December of next year.
Right.
And the following.
I was referring to, and maybe this is all rumor and hearsay, you can clear it up for me, rushed reshoots for Fantastic Four.
I've heard there was additional photography that went well, and then there was new photography, and I haven't heard about it. So I've heard, yes, I've heard there are reshoots.
When I hear this now, I am just stuck with Suicide Squad forever. When I'm just like, they reshoot a bunch of shit, it's because they realize, oh crap, we made a bad movie.
I think they're adding Doom. I think they're putting more Doom in because
they're adding
Downey Doom. I think Doom might have found a footing in
Doom.
I think he might have found a footing in Doomsday, and they might have wanted to add more of that to Fantastic Four because Thunderbolts was
our Doom J.
Our Doom. Oh, I like that.
Okay,
our Doom J. Our Doom J. I think there's more our Doom J in Fantastic Four. I think those are the
so there. See, because that is a bad sign.
Because they wanted to have it be really independent.
You don't want.
And then Thunderbolts was really independent, and it didn't do as well as people wanted. So I think
it really didn't do well.
It is gonna break even, maybe.
Wow,
and
really?
It's one of the best Marvel movies.
But they changed the movie.
It's one of the best. Yeah, the second week. But it's one of the best Marvel movies in literally years. And it didn't clear yet.
Could it be a new post-credit scene filmed by the Russos from the chat?
It could be.
I mean, like if it's as simple as adding a post-credit scene, then it seems innocuous.
The press comes out though, unless someone just saw it, blew it out of proportion, which is possible. Like that does happen.
That it's kind of a bummer.
I've been worried about FF from the jump.
See, I was not worried.
Yeah,
I've been thrilled about it. It's probably the thing I've been most excited about in all of Marvel.
I don't like half of the casting, and I always love her casting.
Oh, interesting.
Sarah Haley Finn, I think, is one of the best casting directors of all time. I really can't wait to be proven wrong. But when Downey, Human Torch, and Reed are all, I think, miscast, that makes me worried.
That's interesting.
3 out of 5 is
See,
scary.
I don't think any of them are miscast, but I've also avoided on any major trailers or anything like that.
I think if Paul Walter Hauser is in fact Mole Man, it will elevate things back into positive.
That's great.
But if he's not, then I'm really worried. Because I think Sue is perfect, and I think Eben Moss-Bacroc is like, we're talking like Downey level good casting. But I think that they're going to try to make Human Torch to not hot-headed because of the culture, and Joseph Quinn is very soft, and I don't want a soft Johnny.
You don't want them to meet in the middle.
I want them to have him have an arc.
Right, yeah.
He doesn't get to land at 10 years of all of Johnny. He has to start somewhere. And I don't think the times are going to allow Joseph Quinn, who's already a soft boy, to play anything but that.
You think that like our politically correct and societally concerned culture
aren't going to let a hot-headed Johnny Storm exist, which is the character.
Why? But it's not like he's overtly a bigot. Like I don't understand. Like there's plenty of hotheads in pop culture
because he's like a womanizing, impulsive, brash. Like it's a character that is not how Joseph Quinn is presenting the character in any way that I've seen or heard discussed.
Well, okay, maybe.
And Pedro Pascal's the same thing because you should not want to have a beer with Reed, and Pedro Pascal's the most likable guy on the planet.
Yeah, but I think that he can be. I think Pedro is good enough to turn on that pompousness, which I
hope so.
Yeah, because I always wanted Reed to be kind of a dick. And
I love your Joseph Gordon-Levitt casting because he's so a good
Joseph
guy, but he reads a little pretentious, and I love Joe.
And he reads as smartest guy in the room in a bad way.
And to me, Pedro doesn't.
You know, like, I totally get that. I totally get
But
that.
these are I want to be proven wrong moments.
Yeah, of course.
That's why I've been worried from the jump, though, because like this third strike. Right. Will this work out?
So, all right. So here's the other thing. So we've talked about maybe they're adding in something that's never a good sign because we're talking square pegs and round holes.
Yeah, we're also talking it comes out this year.
Sure. We're talking maybe they wrote a bad movie.
I mean, it's out in 5 weeks. I don't know if you can.
They realized it and they're like, shit, we got to fix this as quick as possible. The third alternative, which is best case scenario, is you said they did some additional photography.
Yep.
And there's a possibility that when they did some additional photography, something clicked.
That's what I'm hoping with Downey, right?
And it's like simply just like,
yes.
Oh, you know what? This is actually great.
Let's tie this in.
And it's not just because it's bad to start.
Right.
It's that you took something that was good and made it better.
That's what I'm hoping.
Right.
That's always what you want reshoots to be. That's what they should be.
Right. I mean, listen, my shitty little indie movie is far from a fucking Marvel blockbuster, but I always tell the story about how the two most pivotal scenes for the sake of the story were never in the original script. And it wasn't until I was nearly done shooting that while I was editing, I realized, oh, it feels like there's a scene missing. And then I sat down and I wrote the two best scenes, my two favorite things I've ever written in the thing. And I'm like, sometimes that just happens.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that without them, the movie's garbage.
But
probably would have been not as good.
Grow it.
Or you change stuff and you like take that thing and go, oh, well, what if we make this instead of this?
Recontextualize.
Yeah.
And I hope
So
that's
let's
what
hope
this
that's
is,
it.
that they showed some audiences or they watched it themselves.
I am really excited about
So
that.
July, it's soon. It's a month and a half.
Yeah. Alexandra and I, we'll talk about this on the Patreon only pod once we get to it, but we recently watched something and I was just sort of like, fuck. God, we need to be better about going to the movie theater. We're just again, it's part of what I was talking about where it's like
you watched a movie and wish you'd seen it in theaters.
Yeah. And also just it was one of those things where I was just like, I wish we could enjoy that experience more often. And you know, we've got a Regal right around the corner from us here. And we still haven't been there. We've been here 6 months. We've still never been to it. You know, we've been to not that one. We've been to other.
No, but like you haven't been to your local theater. That's crazy.
And it's just a lot of it is just time and you know, fucking work. But yeah, I'd like to see that in the theater.
This is the longest I've been without going to the movies for fun. I've been to like events, but I haven't. I don't think you're gonna do that anymore. I hope I get to.
I don't think you're gonna have fun. I think you're working now all the time, always.
I literally today.
You got what you wanted, bitch. This is the monkey's paw.
Shit, man.
Don't fucking ask.
I'm not complaining. I'm just limping. Today it's like a holiday, and everybody was like, "You got work today?" And I was like, "Yeah, well, of course I do."
Yeah.
And like, what do you mean?
Stop.
And then I realized like I was running late and I had to get a workout in. I got a workout rack. Like I got a weight rack.
Oh, that's
at
fun.
my home. I'm so excited because I didn't have time to go to the gym. So I got something I could train with at home and I built it over the last 2 days. I'm like, today I get to work out on it. But I was running so late in time and I owed reading like 15 comics. I literally was like, I need to work on taking breaks between sets. I'm going to read 2 pages between every set. So I'm literally working out, flip, read, workout, flip. And I was like, I'm so busy.
But can I also say that's
also the most me shit ever.
Kind of a very funny workout.
Oh, it's hilarious. I'm like, must take a break. Comic.
You reward every set with a few pages.
And I literally got 5 comics read.
And what you really got to do is you got to find books that have really strong mid-issue cliffhangers.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh shit, wait a minute. I got to see this next page.
Gotta get a pump. Gotta get through it. Yeah, so that was my morning. I'm not even kidding.
God, it's really funny.
But yeah, so the summer we've got Jurassic World.
Okay, yeah.
We've got Fantastic Four.
I still haven't seen the last Jurassic movie.
That's okay.
I'm almost more excited for this one, even though I still don't think it's going to be good. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
Like Herschel and ScarJo have me.
Right.
But I know I'm going to be disappointed because they have me.
Right. And it's not that I didn't want to watch the last one. Oh, wait. Have I missed one or just 2?
There's 3 Jurassic World.
Okay, so I've missed just the third one. Okay. I watched the first and the second. It was Jurassic World and then Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Is that what they were called?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. And at the end of the second one, they get loose into all of the world, right? That's the premise of the ending?
That's been the premise for the last 4 endings.
Oh, great. All right, so in any case, I haven't seen the last one then. Again, not out of a lack of interest. It was just like, one of those. The irony is that Alexandra and I, since that has come out, have rewatched Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park Lost,
which are way better, dude.
So she got me Jurassic Park on 4K.
Nice.
Okay, so that was that. Sorry. So I was trying to gauge my summer interest.
I consider this weekend the kickoff of summer. Sometimes when there's a Marvel movie, it kicks off in April.
Sure.
Thunderbolts was meant to be. It did not work out. This weekend is killing it at the box office. We have Lilo and Stitch, which is doing amazing. I think it's tracking for 180 million, which is insane. And Mission Impossible, which is tracking very well.
By the way, just to reference the chat here, Darth Vadad says, 16-year-old, my 16-year-old, not just his daughter.
Just a 16.
Yeah, there's some context, is working a shift at her AMC right now. She hates the kid messes of popcorn in the Lilo and Stitch showings.
It's doing very well, and that is not surprising at all.
Great.
So if there was a Barbenheimer for this year, I do think it might be Mission and Stitch. I think this weekend's going to be solid because those are very
Stitch and Impossible.
Oh, that's better. Stitch and Impossible. I think those are two different enough demos. They're both going to support each other. So that's this kickoff. June is interesting because like I feel like there is stuff, but July is so big. I'm like, I guess we'll go through June. How to Train Your Dragon, I think, is gonna be the big thing in June.
Right.
That is coming out mid-June. I'm not sure what the first weekend in June is. Like between now and How to Train Your Dragon. 28 years later is the end of June. I'm very excited about that one. That's one of my big movies of the year.
I can't imagine that does like.
It's not gonna do gangbusters, but
that's
for me, that's a big summer event.
I was just gonna see kind of what's.
But summer has started now with Mission and Stitch. What is the first
from the world
June?
of John Wick?
Oh yeah, Ballerina's out.
Ballerina, the Phoenician Scheme, which I saw that you had saw.
I
already,
did,
but that came out already, right?
Yeah, it got limited LA, New York.
Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah, nothing that looks like. Oh, there's a Predator movie coming out. Oh wait, no,
that's the animated one,
and that's also looks like it's a Hulu. It's not a theater.
There's
movie.
a live action one coming out later this year.
Right.
Yeah, Ballerina's I guess the big thing next weekend.
Nothing does seem to be a big like tentpole-y kind of June.
And then what is the second weekend? I believe that is going to be How to Train Your Dragon.
I don't know. Maybe I'm on a bad. Oh yeah, there it is. Friday the 13th.
Yeah. So How to Train Your Dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon on Friday the 13th.
That's exciting, and no horror movies. So How to Train Your Dragon is the big one I think of June. I think that'll clear like 800 million. That's going to do really well.
Right.
And then basically everything's kind of clearing space for July.
Yeah.
So what was that? The 13th. So the 21st is the next big release day.
20th is
28 days later. There we go. 28 days later. That's my big one. Elio, I think will be decent. I think Lilo is going to be way bigger, but Elio and 28 years later.
Sure.
And then one more week in June, the 27th.
24th. Let's see here. F1.
F1's gonna be big.
That's a big.
Yeah.
That's a big.
And Megan 2.
Oh right.
So F1 is your Brad Pitt,
but they still have the 3 in Megan.
They do still.
M3 again
which,
2.
Guys, it's you say that for the
2.0.
2.0. She's the upgrade. F1's gonna be big. Megan's gonna be big, and then we're on to the biggest month of the year. July is insane. Not only do we get Jurassic World. Not only do we get Fantastic Four, but we get my biggest movie of the year, you goddamn Superman.
Yeah, I have not seen the new updated trailer. I've avoided everything.
Doesn't give a lot away, but
I'm sticking to the
I respect it.
No trailers vibe for that.
I know what you did last summer. Also comes out.
Yeah,
Karate Kid comes out in June, I believe.
That man, there's a part of me that's like, do I need to?
It's May 30th.
Do I need to be completely done? Do I need to do all of Cobra Kai?
It doesn't tie in. It's a different.
Oh, great!
Yeah, you're
great.
Good.
I'm
up to date.
I'm excited for that movie.
Yeah,
that movie looks really, really good.
Just watched the 2010 one for the first time.
So underrated.
It's so good, dude.
It's so good. It's so underrated.
Such an incredible
And
movie.
despite their weird fucking family, that little Smith kid is great in it.
He's so good. It's incredible.
Yeah,
He's so special.
I really enjoyed that.
I saw it in pieces when I worked at the theater. I'd never actually sat and watched it.
Got it.
And I just watched it and I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited for the new one now.
Right. Yeah, I'm excited for the connective tissue.
2 branches, 1 tree.
Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest thing. The end of May is Karate Kid, and then that June we just read. July is insane. Summer's here. August is pretty quiet. I'm actually hoping to take some time to like recover in August. I'm kind of white knuckling it till August with my sanity, and then August I want to
until August comes around, and then you have a bunch of shit that you white knuckle through August for.
I try to live. I'm trying to live.
You're not. I don't think you're doing a good job.
I'm not doing well. I'm blacking out. But I'm hoping to take some time off in August. Truly.
Right.
And then in September it's birthday season. I want to try to go to the East Coast see my family. My grandpa's 80th birthday in September.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, big 8-0. So I'm going to try to like do a family reunion, see everybody.
That's fun.
And then it'll be Christmas. And then we'll be 50 years old.
How do we get to Christmas already?
And then we're 50. And then that's it. And then we try to start raising our kids.
Yeah, I think one of the goals for us is not just to try to make some of these big tentpole blockbusters in the theaters, but I think I really want to try to start taking advantage of the sort of limited screenings that we get in LA. There's a few movies that there's a movie that I just saw a trailer for, and I have fucking no idea how it existed without me knowing about it. It was in the festival circuit last year. It's an indie movie by a British comedian who I absolutely love named Nina Conti. Do you know who Nina Conti is?
I know the name.
Did you ever watch the HBO show Family Tree with Chris O'Dowd? It was Chris O'Dowd and the Christopher Guest world.
I know of it, but I didn't watch it.
Nina Conti was on that. So she's most well known as a ventriloquist comedian. But she has her main character is Monkey, and it's just this little puppet. But it's very deconstructive ventriloquism.
Okay.
Right? So she's done this character Monkey, and it's great because Monkey's just sort of like this crude man in a sense. Not crude, not like he's like offensive, but he's just like a curmudgeon male presented monkey character, and she's this like beautiful woman, so it's very fun. But apparently she made a movie that went through last year. I think it's called Sunshine, and it's her in a life-size monkey costume, like she's encompassing her puppet.
I'm looking this up.
Yeah, I think it's called Sunshine or.
Oh, I have seen this woman.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, yeah. She does pop up. She's in a lot of British shit, but she does pop up in American stuff occasionally. It's not called Sunshine. Now I need to find it. I don't know why I'm looking it up, not sharing the screen. We have the technology here. But I don't know. Like I only bring it up because it's an example of like, this is the sort of shit that I think that if I was a little bit more plugged into the like the sort of what's happening in independent cinema, I would be a little bit more familiar.
Are you going to like try to get,
Sunlight. It's called Sunlight. And it came out last year. But it did all of the festivals last year. I don't know if it's going to have any sort of like limited thing, but it looks so fun. And the trailer doesn't really
down below it says Sunlight 2025, which implies it might get a release.
That's what I'm thinking maybe.
Like that would be the hope.
Yeah.
But I mean, would you get like an A-list or would you just go like once every so often?
Whatever. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. If we get A-list, it might force us to go because we're cheap.
I think it's helpful.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's a good thing.
But also, our local theater isn't an AMC.
That's why I was asking.
And this sort of shit,
service?
Probably. But this sort of shit also tends to happen at Lemleys and stuff like that.
Which doesn't have.
Yeah.
They have like days that are cheaper.
The premise for this, though, is so yeah, she's in this giant thing. That's her in there as playing the character of Monkey. It's not like connected to her stand-up, but it's like an adaptation of what she does. And she's with some guy on like a road trip. And it's clear that she's in that suit, and like there's a lot of dialogue about like, oh, I won't come out here, and it reminds me a bit of what I love about Frank, the movie Frank with Michael Fassbender, where it's like he's hidden behind this facade, and for some reason, I believe the whole road trip is because the guy she's with is seeking to dig up his dead father to tell him to go fuck himself.
I respect that premise as a monkey.
I think that's, I don't know, but in any case,
indie comedy.
This just came to mind because I was so irritated when I saw the trailer for it yesterday, and I had no idea it was existed. But maybe you're right. Maybe that means it's coming out.
Yeah, it said 2025 below, so that gives me
hope. But you never know.
If it's going to be anywhere, it's here in New York.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely want to be plugged into the theater experience more, but also, I've had so many bad experiences.
But LA, if you're paying this rent, you got to find those perks. Like that's always my thing. Like if I'm here on the Patron pod, I'm going to talk about. I fell into 3 concerts in the last 2 weeks. I've been to 3 shows, and I kept thinking like, this is why I pay crazy rent. But I'm also so tired. I was like, am I choosing to go out again? Right. But I'm going to talk about the 3 concerts I went to since we recorded last.
Fun.
And like
Alexander just bought us tickets to Rilo Kiley reunion.
Nice.
It's like very rare, and they're like all.
That's cool.
And I like them. She loves them. So,
Reasons to live in LA.
So I'm like, yeah, okay, that's pretty great.
That stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know who also is a very attractive ventriloquist?
Who's that?
Haley Atwell.
Oh yeah, right.
She's incredible at it. She can throw her voice like nobody's business. But yeah, I think we have one hotline call before we.
No, you were wrong. We have, I believe, 2 hotline calls.
Oh well, there we go. Let's get to those 2 hotline calls before we get out of here.
Tell the people about the hotline while I find it and pull it up.
Guys, if you'd like to lend your own voice to this program, if you'd like to co-host this program and guide this conversation, you can call 818-794-0722. That's 818-794-0722. Or you can send a voice memo to contact@coycast.com.
Hello again, Coy and Jake. This is Doug from Pittsburgh, or Darth Vadad on the Discord. I just want to know if you guys need an excuse to watch Murderbot on Apple TV Plus. If you do, I will spend my April unpunchability on that. If not, I'll save it. Hey, take care and have a good one.
You know what? I like this challenge because I haven't seen it and I've heard good things. I accept your challenge of April punchability.
I thought I had the book.
Oh, you've read Murderbot?
He sent it to me. This is not Darth Vadad. This has nothing to do with how I feel about that project or you. I started it on the toilet.
That's a good place to read. Is it there now?
And then but then we moved.
Oh, yep.
And it did not remain in the toilet book section.
Got it.
And I think it made it down to the library on the shelf. But the problem is that we talk about this all the time. Not only do I show up time, I'm also shit when it comes to the out of sight, out of mind stuff. And I need to just
keep lists for everything.
I need
to read this,
and I need to bring it up. And I need to put it. Actually, I need to put it like on my nightstand.
Yep, that's what I do.
So that way I can just finish reading it. But I mean, when I started, it's really brief. It's like it's like a novella.
Let's watch Murderbot.
But it's real. I mean, it seems fun. And I mean, come on, Skarsgård is just a babe.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it looks like a great show. I'm hearing great things about it. I'd be curious.
It on Hulu?
No, it's an Apple Plus show.
Oh, I'm in.
Your favorite, yeah.
The scorn at my love of the best streamer. Your favorite.
Darth, I'm curious.
You love those shows.
To how you feel about it as a adaptation. Are you one of the people who's gonna push your glasses up and go, yeah, the book was better? Did they do a good job? Does it make sense? Let us know. I'm curious about that. I mean, he's in the chat right now, but I don't know what the delay is or whether or not we can wait for him to answer or not.
Let's check our next one, then we'll cycle back.
All right. This next one comes from longtime listener. I think probably a day oneer, if not like a day threeer.
Before the next episode.
Really good adaptation. 3 episodes in.
All right.
There we go. He got it. All right. This one comes from Mass Llama.
Hey, y'all. It is Mask Llama of the Legendary Fighting Federation, and I am calling because I have just heard that Peter David has passed away. Apparently his health wasn't in the best. And that's what happens, folks. Still hate to see it. But I was curious if you had any good Peter David memories, personal encounters, or if not that, then recommendations. What of his would you recommend? Yeah. So just thought we'd do a little honoring of the gentleman. And yeah. Hope you're all having a good day. Take care, y'all. Bye.
Mass Llama talking Peter David. That is correct. We did not speak about this. This just happened, I think, yesterday at time of recording. Peter David, writer of a reviver of pretty much Hulk, if I'm not mistaken.
I was going to give his Hulk his flowers. His Hulk is all time.
Also, writer of it's almost a bummer. This is an issue. This is an issue. It is an issue. I guess that wasn't a misphrase. An instance where sometimes we even did it earlier when we were talking about 200s, where sometimes a cover gets, because of an artist using a cover, gets a little bit more of the top billing, despite the fact that the writer is the reason the issue exists.
Yeah.
And I think of that famous Todd McFarlane Hulk cover with Wolverine's claws and Hulk in the claws. That was one written by Peter David, if I'm not mistaken. Like that's his era of that.
He's also Spider-Man 2099.
Oh, right. Did he create Spider-Man 2099?
To my knowledge. I also, his Hulk is sensational. He did really great stuff with Spider-Man with the Jean DeWolf saga. He's responsible for that era. He also did a really solid run on Aquaman for a very long time. I personally really liked his stuff in the 1602 world. But yeah, I mean, Hulk is what he's known for most. I'm trying to see if 2099 was like completely him. Oh, his She-Hulk's amazing. I love her. His stuff on Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man. He did a giant, long-spanning run ending that whole saga. That was spectacular, pun intended.
Yeah.
Like his Spider-Man is one of the greats.
Speaking of, I'm pretty sure he's got a 100, not a 200.
He has a Spider-Man 29. So sorry.
Right. Oh, gotcha. But I also meant like I
love that cover.
Yeah, this is great. Oh, I forgot. I'm not sharing it. Like I can do that. We can figure this out. We're doing it together.
Supergirl from issue 1 to 80, with Gary Frank and Terry Dodson and a lot of other great artists. He was a huge person to take over X Factor. X Factor ran for like 5 years and he revived it, much like he did Hulk. He's also responsible for a lot of people's favorite Young Justice. I mean, like the guy's an icon. What a legend.
Yeah, tragic. I heard that it was really tough where, it was about like losing insurance and health providers being difficult. And I know for a while there was a online
like a
fundraising situation. And man, I mean, listen, not to turn everything into the political soapbox, but like,
what a world.
The fact that we don't have, a better healthcare system in the richest country in the world is just absolutely fucking absurd.
And the fact that I can talk for 5 minutes about just the best of this guy's work, not just all of his work. The fact that he's done this much and he wasn't able to survive in this country is insane.
100%.
Like he's done, it's insane.
Yeah, absolutely absurd, but real tragic. I guess read some Peter David. And you never met the man?
I never met the man. I've read a lot of his artists, and I have asked them about him. Like Rick Leonardi speaks really highly of him. I've met Leonardi at a number of occasions. And I like talking about writers from artists because there's such a personal relationship in that one-to-one. Never heard a bad thing about Peter David, which is always, and they're in the throes of it. They're like, give me pages. That's always stressful.
Didn't they call him Patty?
Yeah.
Patty or Pat, yeah, something like that.
Patty.
Like his initials.
To my knowledge.
Yeah.
But yeah, Peter David, one of the greats. Rest in peace to an icon.
I think that'll do it.
That'll do it for this episode. 200 episodes into Coycast. What a journey.
Once again, tell people about the hotline.
818-794-0722 or contact at coycast.com. Also, please check out our Patreon. We got so much over there. We got swag like shirts and sweatshirts and hats. We got mugs. We got a whole store over there.
You went from Patreon to the shop.
I did.
Yeah, those two things are not connected.
No, they're online. They're both found online. They're connected via the internet.
No, the Patreon is where you find the patron exclusive podcast,
which is
one
good God number of episodes we got.
230?
So many episodes.
230.
And 5 to 10 interviews, 5 to 10 reviews every episode means we're talking thousands.
Despite playing that Limp Bizkit song in my band in high school, I have never seen a Mission Impossible movie. And we just started Mission Impossibles. So I'll be talking about the first 3 Mission Impossibles.
I am flabbergasted.
Yeah, I never saw them.
Are you going to try to catch 8 in theaters?
Because
you should.
We didn't think about that.
You should. It's such a theater experience. That'd be a really cool.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
As you can tell by 1 through 3.
We'll see if we get to it before it's out of theaters, but I'm assuming it'll be in for a while.
It's doing well.
Which might be great, because then by the time we get to it,
assholes.
Nobody will fucking be there.
Dude, go see Mission Impossible in theaters.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing. Also, this one plays like it's an end game.
Right, yeah, sure.
So it's called Final Reckoning.
It'd
be cool to have watched them all fresh.
Right, totally. Despite the fact that so far in the first 3, no 2 have anything to do with one another. But I'm assuming that gets that.
It does.
I'm assuming it fixes that. But so anyways, yeah, so I'll be talking about that. We've got a lot of stuff on the Patreon pod.
I went to 3 concerts.
And again, there's over 200 plus episodes there, and it's pretty detailed as far as like
accessibility, search a movie title, see if we talked about it.
Exactly. If you're like, oh, I watched something and I'm curious to what these 2 schmucks thought of it, or if you're just like, oh, I'm curious if they ever talked about this, you just have to head on over to the keyword search for the movie, and I've done the best I can to make sure I add everything that I can there.
And that's we don't have sponsors on the show.
No, we have no commercials. Nobody cares about us.
This isn't brought by AG1. This isn't brought to you by Squarespace. This is brought to you by you guys.
But I do want to plug Ground News.
I also want to plug, if you guys want to, be a sponsor, we're available.
Right, we are your sponsor.
We will sell
you are our sponsor.
You are our sponsor.
Oh my God, we should make one of a Patreon tier that's like, if you have a business, we'll talk about it.
100%.
And the irony that it's like, I hope it's just people that are like, yeah, I work for Comcast or whatever.
It's not their business. They just want to be talked about.
So I was like, I work for the USPS. Hey, shout out to the USPS. If you need mail sent, check out USPS.
Or the other way, if they're like a local landscaper and we can like shout out like someone 100%. In like a tiny town in Nebraska, we will happily give you business.
In fact, I just want to shout out right now, whatever that AMC theater is that Darth Vadad's daughter works in.
Hey, shout out to AMC in Darth Vadad land.
Are you in Pittsburgh proper, Darth, or are you like, I think he's
support
outskirts?
AMC
Pittsburgh. Head on over.
Yes.
Ask for whatever nickname we came up with for his daughter, which I've already forgotten about 500
Leia
times.
Something, I think it was, right?
Yeah,
like daughter of Prince, like the Darth Vadad, like the.
But anyway, so yeah, all of that's at patreon.com/Coycast. But we also have a shop. where you can snag a hoodie, like this lovely hoodie I'm wearing right now. You can snag a hat. I'm wearing my PWP hat right now, but we got Coycast hats. These are the new, by the way, I don't think you saw these. These are the new corduroy hats.
That's nice. We looked at them digitally.
Yeah. So those are the new corduroy hats.
Nice.
So you can get one of these.
I'm such a dad now. That calls to me.
You can get one of these, a bunch of different colors with a nice Coycast branding on
Mount
it. We've got
Lebanon, Pennsylvania at the Galleria.
boom.
Diana's her name.
There we go. We've got mugs. We've got phone cases. Lots of stuff. It's all good, high quality shit.
Very important to us.
I always order stuff for myself to make sure that we don't sell crap products.
And Jake and I split everything.
The
so
prints are really good.
It is how this is run, and it's all at lowest cost as possible, highest quality possible, and it runs this pod.
Yeah, we don't make a ton of money on merch.
We
but
really don't.
When it comes in, it comes
it's always,
in.
And we make so little, when it happens, we notice and we appreciate it.
Yes, exactly. But please, it's also a great way. Listen, 200 episodes in, 5 years in. We just started doing the video versions of these. We are not, we're not real rejects. Koi is real, but we collectively are not real rejects. This isn't our career. We're not like putting a ton of effort into like getting everybody to come and join this. We're not promoting the shit out of this constantly because quite frankly, I don't have the time to do that.
Energy.
Yeah.
I promote it more than I ever have.
And I respect that and I appreciate that, but this is a thing that we actually do because we enjoy it.
I like seeing Jake, and I like talking to you. This is a community that isn't an asshole.
Exactly. We are doing this not because it is part of an industry that we are building together,
right?
But because it's a fun thing that we just do. And so by snagging some merch and repping a silly hoodie like this
we're repping the merch today.
There we go. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to get at. Is if I wore this hoodie into a comic shop, people would be like, "What the fuck does that mean? What is it?"
Yeah.
I kind of get it, but I don't get it. I know who you're referencing, but why you're referencing.
Why and
then you tell them about you tell them about Coycast, you tell them about the community, and then maybe some more people come on in and we all hang out and bullshit about pop culture together.
And Discord's free to hang out and bullshit about pop culture. So you can head over to Discord and we can have ourselves a time.
Check it out. I talked about this. I don't know if it has my credit card information on it, but I headed on over. Speaking of not a sponsor, I headed on over to Game Dude. Here's my receipt from my last Game Dude outing.
Is this what we texted about?
Oh yeah, I did tell you about this. This is my last Game Dude outing. Okay, Seeking a Friend for the End of the World, A Knight's Tale, Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, Our Idiot Brother, Princess Bride, Dan in Real Life, Goon, Shape of Water, Live, Die, Repeat, Chocolat, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Big Lebowski, Resolution by our friends Moorhead and Benson, which I worked on that movie in art department. All of those Blu-rays, $38.96 total.
That's one Blu-ray.
$40.
One Blu-ray.
I got all of those for $40. And 3 of them were actually sealed despite being in the pre-owned Blu-rays. Well, because they only have pre-owned.
Game Dude, you're not a sponsor.
Game Dude in the Valley.
Shout you out for $20 worth of Blu-rays anytime because that'll get us like 10 Blu-rays.
Game Dude in the Valley. If you're in LA, next time you go to Game Dude, even if you've shopped there for years,
tell them we said
just say, "Oh, I heard about you guys because of Coycast," and they're like, "What's Coycast?" Oh, Coy John.
If they give us a $5,
listen,
that'll go so far.
If you I just want like $20 in used credit a month. So I could buy a couple Blu-rays.
We'll run out of space because it's so cheap.
But also,
what a bargain!
Video games, used PS5 games that I
want
to
get my fiance a Pokemon game, but they're like $90 because that came back so popular. So I need a sponsorship.
Oh my god! For what system?
The original Game Boy.
The original Game Boy, not like a DS.
No, like Game Boy, like Pokemon Red is like $90.
Shit, Alexandra. When we first got together, I think it was the DS was the really popular one that lasted a long time. She had a bunch of games that her ex never came and got, and we made like $300.
Fuck yeah, you did. Fuck yeah, you did. Yeah, it's crazy expensive.
Anyways, so yes, what I was saying, the merch goes a long way. The Patreon goes a long way. Discord completely free, connected to none of this stuff. It's just a great place to hang out. You can find all that at coycast.com. That's the way to go. I think we've succeeded.
I think we did all that. I think that's 200 episodes in the can.
Have we succeeded at 200 episodes?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's up to them.
Leave a comment below. Smash that like button.
Let us know how we did.
I don't know how to do this. This is your world. I don't do this.
Guys, go ahead.
I'm not a YouTuber.
And that's what I've become. And it's a very interesting thing because I never thought that was going to be the path. I wanted to be like a network newsman, and then that went away. I wanted to be like Entertainment Tonight, and then like YouTube took that over. So I guess now I'm like, hey, hit that subscription bell. Here we are. All right. Well, that's going to do it. On that dark note, we'll see you next time, you lovelies. Thanks for 200 episodes. We'll see you soon. Jump in the Patreon, jump in the Discord. Patrons, we'll see you this week for some great conversations. We'll see you there. Bye.
It's Dragon Wagon.